Hey people, it is Thursday, September the 26th. The time is 4:47 in the afternoon and it's about 24 degrees Celsius. And not much humidity today, which is nice. It's an all-around very pleasant fall day here in downtown Toronto. I am on Victoria Street, making my way south, just approaching Adelaide. So we're on the edges of the financial district. For this walk, I'm going to keep heading southward, making my way down to Front Street, but then I'll head over to Bay Street and start heading north, and I think I'll walk north along most of the length of Bay Street as it runs through downtown up to where it passes Bloor Street in the Bloor Yorkville area. We're looking down the Adelaide Street Skyscraper Canyon, and that's sort of like the theme of this walk, I think. It'll be a rush hour walk through some of the city's most impressive skyscraper canyons, Bay Street in particular, being the longest canyon in downtown. It starts from below Front Street now with the new towers in the south core and goes all the way up until past Bloor Street, as I mentioned. We also have a canyon here on Victoria Street, sort of on the eastern edge of the financial district. And we'll see a bit of Yonge Street and King Street as well. I think by the time we get to Bay Street, though, we should be right in the thick of the rush hour commuter crowd. And I'll be walking against the grain. They'll mostly be heading south, down Bay Street to Union Station. I'll be walking north. Alright, so here is King Street. As I look north up the Victoria Street Canyon. Maybe I'll cross to the other side. And a nice shot looking west down King Street through the heart of the financial district.
This morning I go upstairs to get my shoes, and I'm like bending over to put my shoe on my
King subway station. Oh, this is interesting.
Oh, yeah.
A documentary about the Pee Poo Poo Man. He's an infamous Toronto character. You'll have to Google that to see what that's all about. It's kind of a disgusting story.
They want to buy the fucking shit. And I look at the flight time, I'm like, oh, 10 hours.
All right, here we are at Yonge and King. There's a look north up Yonge Street. I'm going to head south down Yonge here, but we'll just take a quick look. Hey,
Hi, Ken.
hey, hi, how are you?
How are you?
I'm good, how are you?
I watch you sometimes on video.
Oh, do you?
I was
Awesome.
thinking you come from North Bay. I want to move to North Bay. If you would like to get sometimes together, I would like to ask you things about North Bay.
Yeah, I mean, you can.
know, like,
I
mean, we can make a video about North Bay.
I can give you. I can help you with any questions you have about North Bay for sure.
Yeah, because I'm kind of interested. I've never been there, but I want to move out of Toronto. I said, this guy, I was talking to my friend. We watch you sometimes, right?
Okay.
so I was thinking, like, I said, I never see you in downtown. And just like, I see you, like.
Well, send me an email to my YouTube channel.
Hello?
You want to say hi?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hi. Dennis, are you there? This is my message for you. I met Ken. I asked you about North Bay.
Cool. What's your
Anyway,
name?
Pavel.
Pavel?
Yeah, I'll
Nice to meet you.
maybe can get in touch.
Yeah, on my YouTube channel, there's a link to my email address. So send me an email.
Okay.
And then I'll get back to you.
We
And
could
then
meet sometimes for coffee, and I would like to
Sure.
talk to you about the.
Yeah, I can answer
North Bay,
any questions you have about North Bay.
When
Yeah.
does it come online? When are you gonna put it on?
Probably in the next few days.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Keep an eye out. All right.
man.
Nice meeting
See you
you.
later.
You too. That was kind of neat. All right. So as I said, I'm going to head south down Yonge here. We're just at Yonge and King. I'm going to loop around over to Bay Street. So this might turn out to be fairly long for a pre-recorded video. That's okay. There's Wellington Street.
But I can do that. Oh fuck, I have no idea.
Love Toronto Maple Leafs fans. I don't know, maybe there's a game tonight. I don't really follow hockey. That would make sense though. And here we are at Front in Yonge. So I'm gonna head west here towards Bay. I'll avoid the scaffolding. Yeah, seeing all sorts of Maple Leafs jerseys here as we walk past the Hockey Hall of Fame. Luckily, I won't be walking west for very long. The sun blazing directly in my face, as it will be in a second. Yeah, very glad I'm not going to be walking west. We're almost at Bay Street, and I'm going to start heading north. We'll check out all the crowds here at the corner of Bay and Front. It's usually quite the sight to see at this time. Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursdays are very busy in the financial district now, just like in the before times. Even Mondays can be fairly busy. Fridays are probably the least busy day. I'm literally blinded by the light right now. All right, I'm gonna cross to the other side though. Maybe just for fun, I'll cross and then cross again and then head north from the other side. Put us more in the thick of all the commuter crush here. Normally I wouldn't find this sort of thing enjoyable, but since I'm not really trying to get anywhere, I don't mind. And it makes for some fun content. Somebody's playing Wonderwall over there on an acoustic guitar. Not really a cliche. Maybe they're getting ready for Oasis's big reunion. I think Toronto might be their first North American show, actually. I just found out today on the news that the city will be building a brand new venue at Dansview Park, a new concert venue. I think Oasis is expected to be the first show to play that new venue next year. They're going to have to get cracking though if they want it to be ready in time for the show. Union Station, no doubt, is a madhouse right now. I can still hear Mr. Wonderwall over there. Got like a wall of people waiting across the street here. All right, here we go.
It's right there, probably.
And just see, a couple of years ago, people were predicting that the financial district was going to be a permanent ghost town. People would never be back in the office again. I was very skeptical of those claims. Right, now let's begin the long walk north up most of Bay Street. Bay Street does continue south of Front Street down to the lakefront.
I don't know what we did, but it was like.
Somebody gotta go. Delete.
I've done this walk quite a few times. I'm just a big fan of the financial district. Not as a place to work, just as a place to walk around and gawk.
I got that infinite privilege.
As I said, I'm going against the grain here for the most part. Now this part of Bay Street is mostly office towers. Once we're north of the financial district though, it becomes mainly residential towers, but still with some office towers sprinkled in. So there's obviously a very high population density all along Bay Street. It's one of the most densely populated corridors in all of Canada. Quite a big crowd waiting for the streetcar over there. Toronto Dominion Centre. Looks like there's some work going on the old Bank of Nova Scotia building. Old Bank of Montreal building. You find lots of classic, historic, early skyscrapers on this part of Bay Street. Of course, back in those days, a building that was 20 stories was considered a skyscraper. Now, talking skyscrapers, you're talking about things like this. These old ones, what they lack in height, they make up for in fantastic architectural details that for some reason they don't really bother much with these days in the newer buildings. Here's Adelaide Street. Here's the Northern Ontario building. Talking about North Bay with that fellow earlier in the video. I left North Bay to come to Toronto, but he wants to leave Toronto to go to North Bay. Different strokes for different folks. That's an awesome canyon. It's just not very long. We're almost at the end of the financial district portion of Bay Street. It ends up at Queen Street. Across here. The part of Bay Street north of Queen for the first couple of blocks I've never been particularly fond of as a place to walk through, so I'm going to take a little detour once we get to Queen. I'll take us over to Yonge Street. We'll walk north up Yonge, and then I will cut back over to Bay Street again. So we'll get a little taste of downtown Yonge, beyond what that little stretch we walked through earlier. This is Richmond Street. Old City Hall. When you look north up Bay Street from front, it looks like Bay Street ends right here at Old City Hall, but it just actually diverts around the western end of the building and continues on. All right, let's head over to Yonge. This is the Ontario Line subway under construction here. Maybe it's prettier to look on this side. Back at Yonge Street. Not as busy on Yonge as it was on Bay Street. At least here the pedestrians are going both ways. They're not all just going one way.
They have like blocks with those different switches.
Sounds like it's old agreement.
I can't tell you how far.
Elgin and Winter Garden Theater. Awesome old bank buildings. This one is now the sort of entryway or lobby to this condo tower. That one, I'm not sure what's going to happen to that one. It'll be preserved in any case, but I don't know if a future development will rise on that site as well someday. There's an entrance into the Eaton Center. I'm actually going to go in there, but we'll take another entrance just a bit further up, and I'll just sort of cut right through the mall, and that'll spit us out in Trinity Square. And then I'll head back to Bay Street, and we'll have mostly avoided that sort of boring stretch that I don't really find that interesting, to be honest, especially if I'm recording a video. I have walked through that stretch several times before though in other videos, and I always tend to complain about it. Alright, now up ahead you can see all the big video screens of Yonge and Dundas. You can hear the subway passing underneath. It's line 1. But let's head right through the mall here. More construction taking place here at the mall also. The Eaton Center. And I get about 30 seconds or less of air conditioning. But back out I go. We're on a mission. This is Trinity Square. Here's the old Church of the Holy Trinity. This dates from 1847. There used to be just streets crisscrossing this area, but when they built the Eaton Center, the old street grid was interrupted and several old blocks of buildings were demolished also to make way for the mall. So now you have this square here with a church sitting in the middle of it. Once upon a time it was a street. Get off me, bug. And directly into the sun again, but I'm gonna hang a right here. This is that part of Bay Street that I avoided. It might look nice enough looking south here towards the financial district, but there's just sort of a bland, faceless street presence along most of the buildings there.
Okay, just like he doesn't use the toothpaste.
Even here on this side of the Eaton Center, this is the Canadian Tire Best Buy store with some Ryerson or TMU classrooms above. This side here is also just sort of a big wall. All right, so we're almost at Dundas. So this is where the Condo Canyon really begins. So you got Little Tokyo heading west here on Dundas. And in that direction is Yonge and Dundas and Yonge Dundas Square.
Audacity.
This parking lot is giving the sun an opening to blaze on me again. I'm going to cross to the other side anyway, just at the next intersection. And you can see why they call it the Condo Canyon. As I mentioned, it's not all condos. There are some office buildings mixed in there. And some medical buildings. This is part of Sick Kids Hospital. Elm Street.
Have you ever seen those videos of like places in Europe?
It's all uphill on the way back.
Here's Gerrard Street. And the humorously named Hater Street, but with a Y. Pretty solid pedestrian traffic. I'm definitely walking faster than almost anyone else, but that's nothing new. I'm always a bit surprised actually when someone passes me. It does happen from time to time.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, here is college.
Yeah, he got pissed. He was all like, why did he get his Honda?
Grenville Street. The old McDonald block. It's a government office complex. It's been undergoing major renovations over the last 5 years or so. And we're getting closer to the Bloor Yorkville area. Find this stretch here, things tend to quiet down a bit. And once you cross Wellesley, it starts to get busier again as you approach Bloor Street. Alright, crossing Wellesley.
It's great.
You have your licensing? Or just
You can see the one has gotten tall enough now to peek above the buildings. Clover Hill Park. Kind of breaks up the canyon effect here, but you can't complain about a park. That McDonald office block behind us also kind of broke up the canyon effect a bit too. And I think we're about to enter Bloor Yorkville officially. If you look at a skyline photo of Toronto from an eastern or western vantage point. You'll see that there are two big clumps of tall towers at either end of the skyline. One is the financial district and the South Core in the south, and the Bloor Yorkville cluster in the north. However, now there are so many new towers popping up in between the two clusters that it's starting to look like just one big extended cluster, especially around Yonge and Gerrard where the Aura is. Another very tall building is under construction there at that same corner, with many more proposed. Eventually it'll be sort of like looking at a skyline shot of Manhattan or something, just a big continuous wall of skyscrapers. And we're at Charles Street. Just to confirm it. It looks like Bay Street Video is closed, but I haven't found any official confirmation of that. It's a landmark business in the whole city, really. Hopefully it's not that business, but something else that's for lease inside. And here we are at Bay and Bloor.
But I didn't speak on your behalf. I just said hi.
Looking back into the sun. The busiest part of the northern end of downtown. Building looks awesome in my opinion. Even if the cladding is a little on the cheap side, just the setbacks and slimness of the building sort of make up for it. And I kind of like the color scheme also. We've walked most of the Bay Street Canyon now.
And then I got bounced.
Yeah, I know. I think about that all day long.
And here's Yorkville Avenue, the main drag of the Yorkville Village neighborhood. The sun glaring in that direction there.
don't think it's as nice as this.
It's the Four Seasons Hotel. And this building is the newest addition to the Bay Street Condo Canyon, extending it a little further north. Looking pretty sharp so far. Another look at that beauty.
It's like the most like.
This is a fairly high-end building, and you can tell by the quality of the cladding. And they don't cheap out on the cladding. You have to pay a whole lot of money to live there. It's basically the rule of Toronto condo buildings. Even the ones with the cheap-ass cladding are way too expensive for their own good, but that's another rant altogether. But in this neighborhood, in a building like this, you are paying big bucks. Big bucks.
Like, go like that.
But right up ahead here is where Bay Street ends. At Davenport Road. Or if you're heading south, this is where Bay Street begins. And you can walk all the way down to the lake. So that about does it for the downtown Skyscraper Canyon walk. We walked along several streets, starting with Victoria Street and some of King Street, a bit of Yonge, a bit of Front, and then along Bay, back to Yonge again, and then back to Bay, all the way up here to Davenport Road in Bloor, Yorkville. I hope you enjoyed the rush hour walk on a beautiful early autumn day here in the city. So leave a comment down below, let me know your thoughts, and be sure to like, share, and subscribe if you haven't already done so. And also make sure you hit that notification bell so that you don't miss any of my videos. And if you'd like to support the channel, there are links in the description where you can do so via PayPal, as well as the Be My Merch store. Or you can also support the channel by becoming a channel member, or by sending a super thanks if you prefer. And you can find me on Instagram also under K Continuum. So thanks for watching, and thanks to all the channel members. And be sure to keep checking back, because as always, I will continue